y'all. Welcome back to Things You Ought to Know. My name is Kelby and my other half, Erica Arnautovich, is not able to record this intro with us today, but you are going to hear her plenty throughout this podcast. It's a shorter one, but we had a fun idea. This past weekend was the ConnectStrong Conference located in Charlotte, North Carolina, hosted by the Autism Strong Foundation, who most of you, if you've been listening, you may know that I work part-time for them, and this conference was actually my baby. So I got to coordinate it along with an amazing team that we have as part of the ASF family, and it was a day that I can't wait to kind of break down with you on a later podcast with Erica. But for this podcast, what you're going to hear is we had the idea to pose our typical question of what do you think the world ought to know about autism to some of the resource vendors that were there. And so she was able to walk around and meet several new people, learn what they do and how they're connected to the autism community, and then ask them the question of what they think the world ought to know. So we've got some really good people on here, some familiar faces you may know from social media. I would say a little bit of a celebrity if I should make sure they get the credit they deserve. But we are so excited to be able to continue the conversations hopefully at a later time. If we can get them on the podcast, we'd love to learn more about what they do. Without further ado, this is the live recording from Connect Strong 2025. All right, y'all, you have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you Friday. Bye.
Hey guys, so we are here at the ConnectStrong Conference with Dr. Carrie Magro, who was the morning keynote speaker. So can you tell me a little bit about all of your amazing accomplishments?
Yeah, sure. So I've been an autistic professional speaker for the past 14 years now, and I've gotten to travel the globe and talk about neurodiversity and inclusion. I've spoken at a lot of schools and companies, all about the bottom line about inclusion really matters. And we need to do more to make sure that autistic people are included in our communities. So I've been able to write a few books during that time. I've consulted on Netflix, Love on the Spectrum. I've found a wide range of other films. And yeah, it's a labor of love because I was diagnosed with autism when I was really young.
Okay, that's amazing. Wow, you've had so many accomplishments, and I'm sure several obstacles as a young person to overcome. But
yeah, I was not speaking until I was 2.5. I started speaking quickly sentences until I was about 7, and it was a real struggle growing up. Due to the love of my family and some words, overcome a lot of my challenges, and here we are today.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, good for you and your family. That's like amazing. Just a great journey and I have a son who's 4 who is non-speaking currently. So and he's the light of my life, but it is a struggle sometimes. But I just love to hear like success, to hear such a success story. So
Thank you.
tell me one thing that you think the world ought to know about autism from your perspective.
Autism has no look. I preach this all the time that we have to do a better job of making sure that people understand that there's no one look when it comes to the autism community, and that's such a wide spectrum. So I hope that my message today, but the message I continue to share, will continue to spread that fact.
So true. So true. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. And wow, what a success story. So thank you again. You're such an inspiration.
Thank you for having me.
With Dr. Andrew Jones, who's a psychologist with ABS. So first tell us a little bit about what you do, your company, things like that.
Yeah, so I'm a licensed psychologist. I'm licensed in Utah, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. I oversee a team of psychologists who perform about 4,000 evaluations per year to diagnose children suspected of having autism. So I oversee our operations, just to make sure things are running smoothly and that families get evaluations done in a timely manner so they can access services.
Awesome. You also have a private practice. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I have a private practice where I perform psychological evaluations for children and adults across the lifespan. I do it on weekends just to provide another service to the community so that patients can be seen outside of typical hours for more unique needs.
Awesome. And Dr. Jones is a resource I use often in South Carolina. So we've been very thankful to have him come across the border with ABS. Okay, so we're going to pose the question to you. Tell us one thing that you think the world ought to know about autism.
Yes. I think a lot of people have an understanding of autism that's not the full spectrum. And so a lot of people understand autism from the observable behaviors that they see. They think autism is that you do or don't make eye contact or that you engage in hand flapping. there are a lot of behaviors that you don't see that are associated with autism that are unique to each individual with autism, and those need to be recognized. And we need to celebrate the differences in those individuals and help them get the treatment that they need.
I love that. I think you might win. I don't know if I can say this on the podcast, but I think you might win the answer of the day. So good job. Thank you. We're back with Ruth from the Autism Society of North Carolina. So she is going to tell us a little bit first about the company. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
So, Autism Society is a 50-year-old organization. We are statewide. We support families who are affected by autism, whether they have autism themselves or their children, grandchildren have autism. We have support groups for families and for autistic individuals. We also have a camp, Camp Royal. It's the oldest camp in the United States for kids and adults on the spectrum. It offers full support for those kids and adults. We also have autism resource specialists, which is myself. I'm a parent of a child with autism. He's 15. So we help parents find resources in their areas. So like if you need a list of summer camps, or you need ABA therapy, or you need help at school, we go to IEP meetings with parents. We also provide direct services in some other areas of the state, like ABA and that sort of thing. We are here for parents and supports for them.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a lot of really great resources. I was thinking about the camp. So like all levels of autism, you'll provide.
They have
support.
one-on-ones.
Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just got a new customer. So I have a 4-year-old who's nonverbal.
Awesome.
I mean, when he's a little bit older and we're looking at summer camps, though, we may be hitting you up.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to pose the question to you. Tell us one thing that you think the world ought to know about autism.
So it's going to be, I'm sure you probably heard this quote, but if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. They all look different. And so like my son is very different than her child or than her child. My son was diagnosed older. He was 13 when he was diagnosed. And so I think sometimes they don't necessarily look like the typical autistic kid. And so they might get overlooked. And so I think a lot of people should know that you might not notice, you might not see it. They may look in you in the face and they might want to talk to you and they still may have autism.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's such a good point to make because we see that all the time, especially in South Carolina where we are, which is right across the border. Services like end at 11 almost. And it's like, what do we do now? And so those higher functioning or those lower support need individuals, they get missed and they just get pushed through the shuffle and, end up with a lot of different needs that are not being met.
Yes.
So I think that's great that you guys are bridging that gap. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Come to South Carolina.
There's an autism society there too.
We're back with Jennifer from Above and Beyond Therapies. And so first tell us a little bit about your company.
So we are located all over the country. We're in currently 8 different states. Here in North Carolina, we have 3 clinics that are going to be opening and or already opened. We have one in Salisbury, Concord, Winston-Salem will be opening, and then we are looking into Raleigh, Greensboro, really anywhere that needs therapy. We do in-home services, and we also provide in-clinic services throughout the state and the country.
Awesome. So South Carolina.
Not yet.
Okay. Come on.
I know. We are definitely working on that. That is one of the things we hear in South Carolina.
Yes, please. Especially like York County.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just throwing it out there. So, okay, I'm going to pose the question to you. Tell us one thing that you think the world ought to know about autism.
One thing I feel is important is when a parent or caregiver receives an autism diagnosis of their child, it's not the end. It's actually the beginning of a journey, and it is opening doors that might not have been open before for that child. Once they have that diagnosis, then you're looking at getting them the therapies they need, getting them the health insurance that they need to provide those services so that they can then hopefully be mainstreamed one day and be able to learn how to function in this world as a human being. And also that, they're just like the rest of us, anybody with an autism diagnosis, they deserve the respect and care that is out there for everybody. And so it's not the end, it's the beginning.
I love that. So our listeners know, but in a natural conversation here, I'm a nurse practitioner at a pediatric office, and I got screened for diagnosed autism. And so I tell parents all the time, you and your child walked into this appointment the same way you're walking out of this appointment today. You just have now more knowledge that can get more resources and support for your kid. Being a mom of a 4-year-old little boy with autism, I know that sinking feeling. And so, like you said, it's not the end, it's the beginning. And so I love that. You're the first person that said that today. So love it. With Antonio from Bright Light. And so he's going to first tell us a little bit about the company. So give me a little rundown.
All right, so Bright Light, we're an ABA program, and we provide evidence-based services to children from birth to 21 years old. We tailor our services to meet each child's needs, and because life can be busy,
Yep.
we offer flexible scheduling, including business, community, home, and telehealth to meet your family's needs.
Perfect.
And also, we don't have minimum hour requirements.
Okay, that's really cool. So that's very unique to your company. Yes, because most ABA companies want a minimum of 20 hours. Okay, got it. All right, so here's the question. I'm going to pose it to you. Tell me one thing that you think the world ought to know about autism.
Well, I think just because you learn different doesn't mean you are different.
I love that.
I love it too.
That's really good. Thanks, guys. Yeah, who came up with it?
The team.
The team, the whole team. It was a team collaborative approach. Perfect. Good. All right. I love it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We're back with Ty from ABS. If you can't tell, we are big proponents of ABS. So we've already interviewed Dr. Jones, and we've had Tiffany on our podcast a few weeks ago. So we love you guys. We work very closely with you guys. So tell us one thing that you think the world wants to know about autism.
I think that the world should know that learners are having a hard time. They're not giving you a hard time.
Love it. Preach.